All right, all right. We're here. A lot of anticipation for this one. I know folks were asking about, have been asking about TikTok, and can you is it for real? Is it for teenagers? Is it for this? Is it that? There's a lot of headline reading and a lot of opinions about TikTok. But I went out and I looked for someone that was doing something with it, not just talking about it, but actually executing. And I was able to find Josh. So, and again, true story. I was just browsing TikTok, right? I taught it to show me real estate content and real estate mortgage. I only, I put
That's
away
the trick.
all the dancing teenagers. Get away,
Yep.
get away from me, right? No, let me just, I liked and I followed people in the industry. And the algorithm is smart, man. It will adapt and give you what you want, essentially. And I found Josh. And, I was really impressed. And when I reached out, he was gracious enough to agree to join us here today. 5,300 of your closest friends, right? Right, to meeting them today. So, Josh, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what is it you do, and and we can segue into the first question, which is why TikTok? Go for it, Josh.
Sure. So, I'm a mortgage loan originator. I've been doing this for 20 years. Prior to really pushing out on social media, I was the old song and dance where I was asking for referrals from real estate agents, hitting my sphere of influence, using the Brian Buffini method, you name it. I was doing everything that there was under the sun to try to generate business. When I saw the market start to shift, when I knew rates were going to start increasing, and we were going to start seeing a slowdown in the housing boom, especially here where I'm in Modesto, California. We don't have the housing shortage that a lot of the major metros do. So it's not an issue of finding housing for us. It's more of affordability. I knew that it was going to be difficult for me to, continue the lifestyle that I had been accustomed to over the last 4 years, when it was like shooting fish in a barrel, doing home loans for people with interest rates in the 2% range. It was a lot easier to do loans then and get loans then. So I did my research, I did some follow-up, and I decided I would go all in on social media. I reached out to a couple different companies. The company I'm with right now was gracious enough to say, look, we'll give you the financial backing. You show us that this is a viable option and what it can generate. If you can prove to us that it's viable and it's a means to an end as far as generating business, we'll accept it. We'll let you run with it. We'll build it around you. So came here about 12 months ago. We started on Instagram.
And the company you mean like your brokerage?
I work for a company called Blueprint Home Loans. They're a family member or a company under NFM. NFM has their own influencer division, so this was kind of the brainchild for the boss here for Blueprint. She wanted to try to create an influencer division. So when I got here, we were focused on Instagram. About 6 to 8 months ago, we saw TikTok as an opportunity. We knew that there was a huge opportunity for organic growth in TikTok because Instagram had switched over to the pay to play. You have to pretty much pay to get your content out to people outside of your sphere of influence on Instagram. TikTok, because it was so new, because it was so fresh, was still giving a lot of the organic push. So your content could get out to more. It was more of a public outreach type platform. So we went all in on TikTok. So we started creating educational information. I like to call it edutainment. So it's education with entertainment. We did some of the dancing videos. We did some of the trending audios. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little flack from some of my peers who stuck with we're professionals and we only give this much information and this is how we present it, right? And
always everywhere.
I had a little fun with it, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not having fun doing what you're doing, it's going to become monotonous and you can get burnt out. So instead of being burnt out on it, I enjoyed adding some of the entertainment part of it to what we did, and it's grown since there.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think it's an understatement. I bet it's kind of funny. When you're in the process, when you're in the grind of it, and you've got some of your colleagues saying, "Oh my goodness, look at Josh. He's down to doing TikTok dancing videos. Oh my good, poor guy, right?" I mean, what results have you gotten from engaging with TikTok? And you become native to the platform. I think that's a big thing, right? You're engaging with the platform the way the platform prefers, the way the audience prefers, because you're not on LinkedIn, right? I mean, the button down, in the office, Zoom format works well. It works really well for me on Facebook, for example, right? It works really well. This format in my Facebook group, because it's a very targeted audience. I know this audience. I know what they want. I know kind of custom, right? If I'm on TikTok and I'm trying to do the same thing, try to do Zoom calls on TikTok, no one's going to pay attention. Right? I'm misshooting, misfiring, and misidentifying. Well, you're speaking to the platform in kind of its native way. What kind of results have you gotten over the last year?
Okay, so over the last year, we've done close to 6,000 applications. That's applications, that's not leads. Close to 10,000 total leads. 6,000 applications. We've done an average of 20 to 25 closed deals per month.
This is specifically TikTok. This is not like like global. This is specifically
no. This is it is TikTok. That is all of where my applications and my leads come from. So we push a lot of people back to TikTok, even from Instagram and some of the other places, because that was our focus. To your point, right? On the social media platforms, they all have their own kind of feel for it. So you have to kind of tailor your content and what you're recording and what you're doing on the platform you're on, because Instagram content's different than TikTok content. Facebook content's different than Instagram content. So you really have to get specific because it's a different audience. You're spot on when you understand that it's a younger audience on TikTok. Younger, not necessarily teenagers. Because again, teenagers aren't a market that I can actually capture any business from. So obviously, I've found that there are older people on the TikTok app. So I would say our TikTok audience is the typical 32 to 38-year-old, and that's probably about 95% of the people that have applied with us through TikTok.
Awesome. I love that. And, Josh, tell us, man, because, when you start with a new platform, and because a lot of people get stuck in that initial phase, right? They go, hey, you know what? I'm going to try Instagram or YouTube, or in this case, TikTok, and I'm going to give it the college try. I'm going to try and make a few videos. Tell people your story. How long was it? Was it, because TikTok has these amazing stories of the organic reach going viral within your first 10 videos, right? There's a lot of sort of like that. But for you, what was that process when you started getting a positive reinforcement that you were on the right track by using TikTok? Was it the first video? Was it video number 100? What was that moment where the light bulb went off and you go, whoa, this thing is for real? And it is not just dancing, grade schoolers, right?
Yeah, it's funny. So the first video that went viral that provided a huge influx of leads and applications, I recorded on a Friday before I left for vacation to Hawaii. It was the first vacation I've done in 3 years with my family. We did a video, and as I got off the plane in Hawaii, we had hundreds and hundreds of direct messages, comments. The video had hit over 1 million views. So it was fairly quick. I think I was somewhere around video 97, 96 before we really had anything that got traction. But it's not. It wasn't overnight, right? And that's the other part about this is that we saw an opportunity because TikTok's really not that platform anymore. It's not the platform where you're going to go on and you're going to get a viral video. If you talk to a lot of the people who spend time and do content on TikTok, they'll tell you a viral video now would be probably 20 to 30,000 views. You don't see many videos that get 1 million views. We did one that got in upwards of about 500,000 views just this last month. And that was probably the most we've seen on a video in probably 4 or 5 months. So the days of being able to hit the jackpot and get 1 million views, and again, these are vanity metrics. I'm not a big fan of the vanity metrics because it shows that you're getting coverage, you're getting views, you're getting likes. But we like to gauge a lot of our success on the number of leads and applications that we get from our videos. So that's been a huge success for us. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've spent so much time and energy on these videos. And we continue to do them because it's a consistency, because you don't
100%.
know. And I learned this very early on as I started to study. Like you said, you can go on TikTok and you can learn a lot. You don't have to necessarily watch videos on dancing teenagers and trending audios, DeMilo and some of those other influencers out there. You can actually go on TikTok and you can get information from people like Gary Vee, some of the other good authors and people who have done a great job with marketing, and their content ideas are spot on. So we do a lot of testing. So we will test messaging, we will test videos, we will test content. We're constantly playing with the messaging and the videos, just to see what works, what doesn't work, and how we can garner a response.
Gotcha. No, I love that. So, it seems like there's a lot of intention behind this, right? You didn't kind
Very
of
much
pop up
so.
your phone and not do that. So can you talk a little bit about the process? Is it you and like a team of creators behind you? Is it just Josh kind of just power down and editing this stuff in his spare time? What has it been an evolution? Do you sit down and you record all the videos like Alex Hormozi style, 30 videos in a day, and then you're kind of done for the month? Tell us a little bit about your process, because it seems you're getting really great results. What does it look like right now, right? Early on and like right now.
It's definitely been an evolution. When we started, it was me and one other person. Happens to be my marketing manager, the person that I brought back to work with me probably about 10 years ago. So about a year ago, I explained to her that she was going to need to learn social media because we are going to start editing videos and creating content.
Cool.
So we've been kind of going back and forth and working on that for the last year. So we don't have a content strategy like we probably should. Like I've been taught by so many of the people that
Tell
I
us the
deal
truth.
with.
This is
So
what I love. This is
right,
what I love. Give us the
this is
real,
me being.
give us
There's
the
not
real
really
stuff.
any strategy or content behind it. What we do is we're constantly researching. So we're looking up articles so that we can do green screens. There's just certain types of videos that you want to do a lot of. So we're continuously looking for content around those certain types of videos. When we get them, we will create a script. We'll pull up the green screen or we'll pull whatever content we're going to do, and then we'll film it, keep filming it until we get it right. Once we've done it, then we'll try to do probably 4 or 5 at a time. We're not going to do 30. We're not going to try to do a bunch, over the life of it. We're evolving because the idea is we're going to start focusing on longer form content. We have some ideas on how to actually record those and get those with engagement. So we'll start at YouTube. We'll take those and then we'll cut them down into smaller pieces so that we can use those for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, all driving them back to the YouTube channel where we will have kind of the how-tos and the fun stuff like that.
I got you. No, that definitely makes sense because it's a very efficient way, right, to make that content. You can go long form and kind of chop it up, which is that's selfishly, I'm telling you, that's what I'm thinking about doing myself because I have a lot of long form content. I have a lot of long form content within this group. A lot of it on my YouTube channel, but it's an hour, right? It's interviews like this. It's more step-by-step guides. And it's always been a challenge to me. Yeah, but how can I, I don't think it's going to be useful for that. And so I'm like, you know what? I see a lot of creators on TikTok doing something like that. I see a lot of
Yep.
creators, an hour-long Gary Vaynerchuk talk. That's like that guy's a quick machine, right? So like, you can grab a lot of his phrases and go, oh, that's really interesting. And, share them. Have you found that because a lot of these platforms, they want to be TikTok, the shorts, the reels, like they want to be as TikTok-like as possible. Have you experimented with those yet? Have you gotten a lot of success with those yet? Or is it something you're going to be doing going forward?
So it's something we're going to be doing going forward. But in everything that we do, whenever we record long form content, we will do it vertical and horizontal. So we will have raw footage, and that raw footage then we will upload into the social media apps to then edit them and put them up. So it doesn't necessarily know that we're not doing it in the actual app itself. it's all raw form. So vertical and horizontal. And then the vertical will be used to take into the social media apps where we'll then edit it and create the content through the app. Obviously the horizontal is for more of the long form, the YouTube and stuff like that.
I got you. No, that definitely makes sense. And Josh, you've got a good mix, in your feed of like, I want to say like testimonial style. I'll say that, this is a success story, this
The success stories.
Yeah,
Yep.
like with this credit score and this situation, and we kind of helped them out, and we kind of got, you gave them the keys, kind of that kind of content. You've got the very like headline content, like the green screen. You gotta, for people that don't know what that means, green screen, it's a type of clip on TikTok where you're in front of a photo.
You can be in front of anything, right? It's
yeah,
whatever the picture is in the background that you decide. So we take news articles and we'll put those up behind me as a green screen.
Yeah, and then you've got the very specific like loan educational content, like, hey, this kind of loan, this type of down payment assistance program. So I see a lot of that, on your feed. Is it intentional, like to mix it up between those three? Because I've seen those are performing unbelievably well, more than I would have thought. Like, hey, like a loan program, really? Like, people are like, really interested in that. Have you found that those are like the content people like the most?
Yeah.
And was that process? What was that process of discovery, right?
Like I said earlier, right, we did a lot of testing. So for us, we would throw up videos where I'm talking. We'll throw up green screen videos. We'll throw up testimonials, or at least the client success stories. At the end of the day, it's a lot about storytelling and education. So we try to kind of mix it all in. Because there are certain things that we do that are lead generation, and then there are things that we do that aren't lead generation. So not everything we do is asking for something from them. That's something we learned very early on, that you have to give without expectation of getting something in return. If you're constantly asking for something from somebody, you're a salesperson, and it's like advertising. And people don't go on TikTok to get advertised to. I mean, you'll see some of the big brand names that go on TikTok and they fail miserably because all they're doing is creating advertising, and people don't want to be advertised to. This isn't TV. They're on there to learn, but also be entertained. So it's really important that when you're on there, you're entertaining. Being your true self is very entertaining for most people. I get cracks all the time from people. I'll get comments about my forehead. They call it a 5 head. There's plenty of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on. And as long as you don't take it personally and you really understand that you're providing some sort of entertainment for somebody, and you're willing to just provide that entertainment without any expectation of anything in return, you're going to see success happen eventually. If you're expecting to get something immediately, or I'm going to be a viral star right off the bat because I make such great content, and I've seen loan officers do that. They get on there and they're really well polished in the way they present stuff, the way they talk, the way they talk about the markets and things like that. And what they don't realize is it's just dry. It's not them. It's not their personality. Look at my handle. My handle is Mortgage Data 3. That was really important to me when I chose that. I do mortgages, but at the end of the day, I'm a dad of 3 daughters. And that is my world. That is why I do what I do. So I added something personal to who I am on there. And I continue to add personal information about what we do, how we spend our weekends at soccer tournaments. But at the end of the day, I'm providing value and entertainment for people around the mortgage industry, which is not a real sexy topic.
Absolutely not. And actually, I want to tell you something. Again, I've been, this is not a scientific study, but on my exploration the last few weeks, I don't know if it's a thing or not. I don't know why it is, but the most, I've been reaching out to a lot of folks, getting some information, asking them to come on here on the show. But a lot of the people that are killing it, doing the best, for some reason, are disproportionately mortgage. And I don't know why. Maybe that's just my recency bias, my selection bias. But for some reason, and I'm looking at it as amount of followers, likes, and engagement with the content. I would have assumed that the showmanship is going to come from the real estate agents, right? The more,
Yeah, you know what? To be honest with you, probably just a matter of what you've been liking and listening to
Probably,
and
right?
watching. The algorithm's feeding you more of that because there are plenty of real estate agents on there that are phenomenal, who do great content. We were just talking about it. We're going to try to kind of mirror what, gosh, what am I doing? I'm drawing a blank on her name. But she's a realtor who does a lot of long form content that creates short form content. We're going to kind of mimic how she creates that long form content in kind of an interview style. But again, it's just because you really have to train the algorithm to know what it is you're searching for, because you can learn and you can dive really deep into rabbit holes on just about everything on social media, especially on TikTok.
Yeah, 100%. And getting back to the more like the tactical part of it, Josh, how often are you posting nowadays, right? Because like you said, it's been an evolution. You had one person helping you early on. What does your team look like now? And how much you have like a content, a certain number you want to hit? Is it however you kind of, you get, are you inspired certain weeks, certain months, and you generate more content because there's more news? How does that ebb and flow? Or do you have a certain goal you want to hit on a daily, weekly basis?
So when we started out where we told ourselves we would do 4 videos a day, 4 reels a day on Instagram and 3 TikToks a day. And as we've kind of gotten further into it, we've realized that we don't necessarily need to be doing as much. So we shoot for about 1 to 2 videos a day
Wow.
on TikTok and on Instagram.
So you go more quality than quantity, more quality than
Yeah, and more so, I think what we learned was when you're creating content and you're putting it out there, you're asking your followers and those that are on the app to engage, right? So you're asking a favor of them. So if you're putting 4 pieces of content out there, you're asking a lot of the people that are on the app, and therefore you may be asking too much of them. So instead of focusing on quantity, we've kind of been focusing on quality. Don't get me wrong. There are times when I'm like, we should be doing more content. Because there's just as well as I do, and anybody in this industry knows, there is so much information out there. There's a lot of misinformation. So that's the other part about what we try to do is we try to dispel a lot of the misinformation out there by providing true information, facts. And so I think it just really depends. But right now our goal is just to get 1 or 2 a day. There are times where we'll probably do more. I mean, don't get me wrong, we record content constantly. We're always recording videos. We'll turn on the phone camera while I'm doing phone call interviews because we live in 49 to 50 states. I don't do a lot of in-office interviews. So a lot of mine are teleconference. So we will record those when we have conversations with people, just to kind of get, some more content. We're getting ready to start a podcast. There's a lot of different things that we're working on. But at the end of the day, you just got to hit record. I think that's the one thing I think people really mess up on is they're so worried about the look, the sound, the message. At the end of the day, it's not going to be perfect. And go back and look at some of the great social media influencers and look at their first couple of videos. They're terrible. I mean, you want to talk about like Mr. Beast, who's a big influencer for young kids. You go back and look at his first video and he's nothing like he is now. And it was just because he spent time, he honed his craft. So the more time you spend in front of a camera, the more time you're willing to talk and give information, I think the better you get at it. And the better you get at it, the better your content is. And the better your content is, the more likely people are going to engage with you and respond.
I love it. I love it. And that was one of my questions. You already kind of answered it throughout the interview, which is what have been some influences you had, right? Who did you see look for the guidance? Was it someone in the industry? Was it more like the Gary Vaynerchuk's of the world? What if anyone was an influence on you getting kind of finding your voice, your style within TikTok?
To be honest with you, I didn't look for inspiration on my voice. I told myself I was just going to be true to myself and kind of give people my personality and everything I did, which I can say I can attest that Gary V gave me some inspiration for that because he said just be yourself, be authentic.
You want to last,
and I've got some friends on social media that are influencers. Men Wen from Watson Mortgage, He was a huge influence. He's been a huge help for me. We're in communication all the time. And there's some other guys. I know that mortgage dude. Actually, I got him to come work with us here at Blueprint, so he's part of the influencer division. So I mean, there's a community out there, and it's small, but we're all rooting for each other, and none of us are cutthroat. We're all trying to help each other grow what we're doing, because there's just a lot of people out there, and we can't reach them all. So it's better to work together than to work against each other.
So now you mentioned this a couple of times. What is an influencer division of Blueprint? So what does that mean? That they have an influencer? I mean, they're recruiting, like actively recruiting people, like
right. So when I came on board here, the plan was to be able to create something that was scalable and that we could plug and play. So we've been working on and building out the CRMs, the follow-up campaigns, the communication. But the way it works is we have 2 influencers who create content that drive applications and leads. Those come in, they're reviewed by what we call our deal desk. They look at the soft credit pool and the income documentation. They'll kind of figure out whether or not it's a deal that can be worked or not. If it's a deal that can be worked, it's passed off to an internal loan officer who then makes contact, starts collecting and going through the pre-approval process. If they don't necessarily quite qualify, I developed my own special program to help those types that aren't necessarily ready to buy right now. So we have what's called our Blueprint to Home.
On that, right?
Yeah, our Blueprint to
the
Blueprint to Home program.
Yeah, 100%. Where you instead of saying most, let's be honest, most loans are going to go, you know what, you don't qualify. Get out of here, right?
No, you don't have the credit.
Most agents are going to do that too. Hey, you're guilty of this, agent. People watching this, don't lie. Don't lie. You want to get rid of those buyers they're just they're not qualified, and you don't want to help them qualify because it's a pain, right? So you track those people in a sense.
Yep. So the idea is that you got to understand there's millions of people who want to become a homeowner who aren't a homeowner. They just don't know where to begin. They don't know how to get there. So this was my brainchild. Because we have the ability to do an application, a soft credit pull, which doesn't negatively affect someone's credit. With that soft credit pull, we can do things like a credit analyzer and a what if simulator. We can give people kind of a clear path to what they need to do in order to get their credit scores up high enough to qualify for a home loan, depending on the program they want, right? Because each program has their own credit requirements. So we can actually guide them based on their information, what they need to do. And it's not just the score that they need to fix. Here's what you can do to fix your credit so that you can qualify. Here's an app that will help you track it and help you kind of progress. That will give us the ability to help you along the way. And then once you've reached your goals, and this is what your goal is by this date, here's what you need to have done. If you've done this by this date, here's where your credit will be. We can then retouch, recommunicate, re-up, and figure out what we can qualify you for.
Wow, I love that. That's awesome, right? Because that's what a lot of people need. It's what they want, and you're giving them an option. That's just saying no, right? Which unfortunately a lot of folks, kind of discard them, and they'll say no. Sorry, yikes. You know what? Improve, bump up your credit. That's kind of it, right? So, or they'll do like a credit repair company. Something they'll just hand it off. They're not interested in kind of staying, in touch with a lot of those folks. So I think kudos for that. And that's a pretty awesome program for folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. So, hey, Josh, we got a couple questions here from the audience. So let's see. We got before I let you go, let me see some people have some questions here. Jerry, Jerry, this will definitely be available for replay. Don't worry about that. Here with the group, we're gonna upload it to YouTube. And brilliant idea here. We're gonna make some shorts out of this. We'll make some short form out of this. There's a lot of great parts to this, and it's a great suggestion, Josh. And let's see. So Samuel. Hey, Josh, thanks for sharing your journey on TikTok. Are you concerned about TikTok can it be banned? And what will be your strategy if it happens? So, Josh kind of answered that already, saying, hey, it's not just TikTok's strategy anymore, right? TikTok is kind of where it kind of struck some lightning. But have you guys thought about that? Is that why you're branching out to all these different short?
No, so
what were your thoughts about that?
The idea was we were going to do content on all the platforms, which is what we do. But the one thing that was one concern that we had, but as you actually read the bill that was introduced, It's not just going to be TikTok that gets banned. There's going to be a lot of other social media platforms that will fall in line with that. We're going to be in a lot more trouble than a TikTok being banned if that actually passes. I'm not really too concerned. It reminds me of some of the history that we've had in politics and communism, some of the other stuff. It's not really a major concern for me, again, because we do it on all platforms. This was just a matter of dealing with what comes to us.
Yeah, 100%. And Samuel, for that question, TikTok has been banned in countries already, like India, and I forget which other ones. I think Italy just banned ChatGPT. I mean, countries can do weird things, but what the thing happened in India is that 5 TikToks emerged the next day, right? Within India, so you kind of, there's a sense of starting over again. But when you start with a platform that's early, again, huge opportunity as well, right? So TikTok doesn't go away; it becomes block or whatever you want to call it, right?
Becomes something different.
This form of communication is here to stay. I think it's very popular. People want it more. Every platform, Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they want to become TikTok, right? They want to present themselves as TikTok. So, I think it's a smart bet anyway. So, Josh, thank you so much. I appreciate you jumping on here, helping out, sharing some of that knowledge. If people want to continue the conversation with you, maybe learn a little bit more, maybe learn about the blueprint, influencer division. I think that's bonkers. That's a great idea. I'd not heard of anyone taking this model as seriously as that and building a model around it, right? Building a model of this influencer marketing front end, and then building a team behind it, right? So you can kind of focus on that. If you want to talk to you more about that or the program, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Best way to reach me is to go on any of the social media platforms. You can reach me at Mortgage Data 3. You can reach out to me anytime. My cell phone number is 209-988-9284. Happy to answer any and all questions. Like I said, I've done a couple of podcasts like this. I have people who reach out to me in the DMs on Instagram and on TikTok. I'm happy to share everything that I've learned and talk about any more of it that anybody else wants to talk about.
Awesome. And you know what, before I let you go, it just occurred to me two more questions. Number one, you mentioned that, early on, some of those videos went viral, quote unquote viral, 1 million views. It's amazing, but that's happened less and less over the last few months. What real impact, you said you call it, it's kind of a vanity metric at the end of the day, a little bit of a vanity metric. Has that impacted the results you've gotten? I mean,
no.
Or asked another way, are you getting more results now regardless of that?
So we're seeing, the leads, the applications, they're still flowing in, and we're not getting the 1 million or 2 million views on the videos. You don't have to go viral. Again, like I said, those are a lot of vanity metrics, and I think a lot of people focus on those. For us, we look at the actual metrics, which is the money metrics. Are we getting applications? If we're getting applications and we're getting applications from consumers on our videos, we're doing something right. But when we see them start to slow down, we're realizing that maybe the messaging is not hitting, or we're not doing what we need to be doing. So we'll adjust and test. But we definitely don't spend a lot of time focused on the likes, the views, and the comments. We spend a lot more time worried about, the actual stuff that brings in money, which is people who are inquiring about becoming homeowners and getting a home loan.
I got 100%. And last question, Josh, how has your role evolved either within this influencer division or within your own business? Are you now full-time Josh content creator? Are you got 1 foot in the loan world, 1 foot in the
I will always have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So I do all of the content, but I also do home loans still, just because it's good, because it keeps me engaged with the changes, because the mortgage industry changes on a daily basis. If I wasn't doing home loans, I would be doing the people that I'm creating content for a disservice, because I wouldn't be able to provide them the information and the up-to-date stats and everything that are going on. So I do home loans as well.
Okay, awesome. Makes sense. Josh, thanks so much again. Appreciate you, man. And hey, hopefully we'll see you back here sometime in the future. Love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gus.
All right, bye.